Good evening, everyone. The regular meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board is called to order at 6:00 p.m. on January 23rd, 2024. This regular business meeting of the Osseo School Board is being conducted in the boardroom of the Educational Service Center. The meeting can be monitored electronically by streaming online from the district website. An archived meeting recording of tonight's meeting will also be available on the district website. Seated in front of you this evening from my left to your right is Director Thomas Brooks, Director Heather Douglas, myself, Jackie Mosqueda Jones, Director Sarah Mitchell, and Director Tamara Grady. Director Tanya Prince is unable to make it tonight, and Superintendent Dr. Kim Heil is unable to be here due to a family matter. Also present in the boardroom is General Counsel Amy Moore, and our student school board representatives for the 23-24 school year. Mina Beatty for Park Center Senior High School, Gotham Barani for Maple Grove Senior High, and Reason Adkin for 279 online, and Izzy Ander for the OALC. Yay! Those of you who are able, will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Director Douglas, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board members, are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as is?
So moved.
Moved by Director Brooks. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Grady. Is there a discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Our next item on our agenda is a presentation by the Osseo Health Science Magnet EMS OEC Program Skills Demonstration. At this time, I'm pleased to welcome staff and students who will be sharing a skills demonstration from the Osseo Health Science Magnet EMS and OEC program. Students will be showcasing their emergency care skills, so we feel safer already. Board members will be moving to the chairs in the audience, and I ask that David Casella please come to the podium and introduce yourself and your colleagues along with the amazing students that are here tonight. So we're all gonna go sit down.
All right. Well, thank you for allowing us to come here tonight. We're very excited. I'm Dave Casella, and I teach with the Osseo EMS OEC program in health sciences.
My name is Eric Brisgornia. I'm one of the instructors as well with the Osseo EMS OEC program.
So tonight we're excited to have our students here, and they've been preparing. They're going to demonstrate a couple scenarios of how they're going to handle injured patients. So they should be on the way in if you want to go get them. They've prepared, so we're going to have two patients to start out with, so you can watch one of the two groups or watch both, just kind of look at what's going on. And what you're going to see is a simulated emergency that happened on the ski hill. We have one patient who fell from the ski lift, and we have another one who was injured while they were skiing, and it involved a ski pole and a nasty fall. So they're going to take their positions. You kind of have the scene set here, and the students you see, they are juniors and seniors. They're from Osseo, Park Center, and Maple Grove. So we have all are available for the program. So I'm going to let them start, and then as they're working, I'll kind of translate a little bit about what you're looking for. But they're trained in coming into an emergency and then doing a quick assessment, taking care of any life-threatening problems, and then treating and preparing them for transport for when the paramedics arrive. So we, you may begin. So they come onto the scene, and we can see over here he was skiing. He got stabbed with a ski pole and took a nasty fall. And Tito over here, she fell from there's a suspected spinal injury. So you can see in the backboarding station, they're working on making sure they have the ability to move and feel and sensation. They're going to stabilize the head to make sure that no further injury happens. They're going to measure for a cervical collar, and then they're going to prepare to put them on a spine board. Over here, we can see a severe arm bleed that they're handling, because that's a priority. You have to take care of bleeding first. Fractures are bad, but bleeding's worse. We can't get that blood back in you, so they're going to get it controlled. If it won't stop, they have to use a tourniquet, so they've got that right here. This is really important. We need Mr. Brisgornia to be able to teach tomorrow, so hopefully they can save him. And so part of what they're doing, they systematically check. They'll get some vital signs. It gives you an idea of what's going on with the patient. And if they find any other injuries, perhaps maybe a fracture that's painful or deformed, then they'll immobilize it with splints. So as you can see, they've been working all year on these kinds of things, and we do a lot of simulated emergencies, because what better to bring things to life than to actually do the hands-on. And it might not feel like it to you, but this is a lot of pressure to have this many people watching them, and that's excellent, because isn't that how emergencies are? So it couldn't be a better chance for them. So if you listen carefully, you can hear them interviewing the patients a little bit. It's very important to have teamwork. So over there, Nana's in charge of the roll. So she's the boss. She's going to tell them when to roll. And they try to keep the whole body in line as they do that. So nice job. I think Tito's going to be okay. That's what I think. So you got to get her placed here. And this is all equipment that's used in the field, so we try to make it as realistic as possible. In class, we'll sometimes dress them up actually with injuries, fake blood, and those kinds of things to really up that acting as well. All right, they know how to do vital signs. They know how to also take blood pressure, pulse, respirations, and everything. So looks like they're doing pretty well here.
All right, I think it sounds just kind of really feel cool family, so let's go ahead. Is it okay if we have you lay on the ground here? Okay, I'll try. Okay, go ahead and put this down, Delia, just keep it warm.
So they're treating for shock with a blanket. Back over at Tito again, they're getting secured to the board. We always try to secure them to the board first and then secure the head. That way, if there's any movement, it doesn't torque on the head. So as we said, this is part of our health science magnet program. So we have an EMS program that takes them from basic first aid all the way up to emergency medical technician, right during the high school day. It's also articulated for college credit, which is a wonderful opportunity for them. It's a great head start for any students who think they're interested in a medical career. Whether they end up in the field or not, it's all beneficial training for them. We also have a number of other great courses in our health science magnet, including nursing assistant, medical terminology, exploring medical careers, first aid and CPR. So a great head start within the school. Anytime I tell people what I teach, they say, boy, I wish my school had that. I said, mine does. So it's a wonderful opportunity. So you can kind of see they're kind of finishing up some of their final details here. And you can see this crew over here is sporting their program sweatshirts, and then a lot of times we have our health science scrubs also. We try to wear those on Wednesdays just for promotion of our program. And in a few minutes here, we're going to have our next crew come in, and they're going to start setting up our next scenario here. We're going to see if we can get a little patient report first, and then our next group of students are going to come in and have one final demonstration for you. So, all right, why don't we go over to you over there, Nan? Why don't you tell us what's going on, Amy? Looks great. How about over here? What do we have?
So we have a 33-year-old male patient here who was skiing, fell down, broke his tib fib. We also had a laceration in the right arm. So it was severe bleeding, so we went ahead and did a pressure wrap, and we did a tourniquet as well. We also saw signs of shock, so we went ahead and treated for shock with a heat blanket. We also splinted the leg as well.
All right. Looks great. Good care. So here we'd say, all right, the paramedics show up and take over. So let's hear it for this crew. It's up to you if you let Tito go, by the way. All right, great. And now we're going to have our next crew come in. And I have, they're going to set up right in the middle here. Okay. Okay, so we have our next crew in, and we have another emergency. This particular one happens to be a cardiac arrest. So all the students are trained in this, but these students, you'll notice they're dressed a little bit differently. They're wearing their EMT uniforms, and there are at least here we have 3 students. Well, 4 students. They're all second-year students. They've been through the EMS program already, and now they are in our internship practicum program. So 3 of them are EMTs. They got their EMT, and then one is just this close. Has just got the test scheduled. So let's hear him for that. All right, let's see our EMT crew, and we're going to see how they handle a cardiac arrest. So each of them have jobs, so let's watch what they do.
Sir, can you hear me? Hey. There's no pulse and no breathing. I need help and I need an AED. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all right? 9. I'm here. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
So our priority is getting those compressions going as soon as possible. And then they're working on, each person has a specific job. You can see that Ryan is doing his chest compressions, and we have Sam getting the AED ready, the automatic external defibrillator, which, by the way, you have one right outside the door here, if ever needed. This is a model we have in all our district buildings, so it's available for anybody. If you have any training or even not, if you call 911, they'll talk you through what to do. Harmony's getting something special ready that the interns have received training, and that's an advanced airway. It's actually going to see an intubation take place here. We're going to put in an advanced airway, and that's going to prepare and keep that airway open.
Do not touch the patient.
3, 2, 1.
Clear.
Clear. Clear.
Shock advised. Charging. Stand clear.
Clear.
Press flashing shock button. Shock 1 delivered. It is safe to touch the patient. Begin CPR now.
So they do their compressions. They are making sure they press hard and press fast, and they're going proper depth.
Continue.
You can see there's a little work being done to make sure that airway is maintained well, and then they'll get some good ventilations in there.
Continue
And
for
the
1
AED
minute,
will
45
continue to run in the
seconds.
background. It's deciding if a shock is needed and reading the heart rhythm. And it's got a little, if you can hear,
Continue.
that little beep is going to keep them on the right speed for those compressions that they're doing.
Continue
And-
for 1 minute, 30 seconds. Continue.
So they've witnessed this arrest. It happened really fast.
Continue
So they
for
got
1
that
minute,
CPR started right
15
away. They got the AED on. They give a good 2 minutes of CPR after the shock. And that gives a person the very best chance of survival.
Continue.
So let's see how well they did on this next round here when it's time to check.
Continue for 1 minute.
And as you can hear, the AED kind of talks to you a little bit. It tells you, it kind of gives you a little bit of coaching to keep going.
Continue.
And then Owen's able
Continue
to
for 45
get higher
seconds.
concentration of oxygen. Sam's getting actual oxygen tank hooked up so we can get close to 100% oxygen, as much available into the
Continue.
circulatory system as we can.
Continue for 30 seconds. Continue. Continue for 15 seconds. Continue for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop CPR. Stop now. Do not touch the patient.
Okay.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient.
It's analyzing and
Shock
trying to
advised.
decide if there's a shock
Shock
needed. It turns out there's no shock needed. There really is no shock needed because he starts breathing. And so they're going to monitor. They find a pulse. Let's hear it for 2024 interns. So this gives you just a little bit of a glimpse of what we do and, more importantly, what our high schoolers are capable of. So we, of course, believe in them. And you can see right here, this is a pretty safe room to be in with them already. So just a privilege to work with such great students, and also that we have this program as a real gem in our district. So it's a wonderful offering. So are there any questions? All right, well, we thank you. Yeah.
Can they do EMTs before they graduate?
Yes. Yep. They can, as soon as they complete the training, they just have a written exam they have to take. That's at a national level for the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians, and then also a state skills exam. So if they pass those two things, they can be an EMT.
What's it take to get a job after that?
This is an excellent time right now for jobs. I've never seen this in my entire career, the demand that there are for EMTs right now. If they're 18, they can get a job. We used to say, oh, well, maybe if you go to the outlying areas, but right now it is a very important time. They need students now. They need them in the training. So, well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
They're just coming up for a picture, so. Okay. Our next standing agenda item is recognitions. We have no recognitions this evening. Our next agenda item is student school board representative reports. Mina, will you please share your report?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mina, and I'm the representative for Park Center Senior High. As the new year begins and mid-tries have just completed, registration conferences were held last Thursday at Park Center for students and families. Park Center coordinated with FACE, Family and Community Engagement, to have a DJ, games, tons of prizes, and much more available to all those who came. These conferences are a great opportunity to promote Park Center highly, learn more about the different programs and classes offered at Park Center, the different clubs, sports, and really just a good resource for new and current families or students. Additionally, this week at Park Center is our Spirit Week. For the 5 days of school this week, leading up to the dance on Saturday, students can promote their school spirit by participating in the week's dress-up themes. Today's theme was Dress Like a Celebrity, and it was quite fun to see all the different celebrities around school. A lot of Steve Harveys, especially. In addition to Spirit Week, there will be a dodgeball tournament this Thursday at 6:30 where students or teacher-created teams can face off to win a gift card. To end the week on a high note, this Friday is pirate-themed, where students dress up in their school colors and everybody gathers in the gym for a pep fest. In this Pet Fest, there will be things like a dunk contest, student first teacher games, performances, a bunch of activities, and more. The Saturday following all of this is our Frosted Gardens Winter Dance, which takes place at 7:30 in the PC gym. Spirit Weeks are always some of my favorite weeks of the school year, and I know others can say the same. One thing that has recently happened at Park Center is our esports Rocket League team has just won state. And additionally, this past Saturday, Park Center Wrestling hosted a tournament with participation from over 18 teams, and even wrestling Olympic gold medalist Gable Stevenson was in attendance, so I know a lot of people were really fond of that. Some things to expect at Park Center these coming weeks is our blood drive run by the NHS team, which is me and my friends. This will take place on February 2nd, and students can find sign-up sheets at all 3 lunches. Shortly after that, PC is hosting our annual Asian New Year celebration on February 3rd. Here you can come dressed in your cultural clothing, and there are a bunch of Asian-owned vendors and food stands you can buy from, so that's a really cool experience. There's tons of games, raffles, activities, there's a cultural fashion show, there's a bunch of performances, and so much more that will be taking place and people can participate in. It's such a good opportunity for Park Center to showcase all the Asian cultures and representation throughout our school, and just to get to know more about the students at our school. Last but very not least, our Black Student Union group will be hosting the Black Joy Showcase, which is February 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. This is an opportunity for students in the community to showcase Black talent, art, and represent the Black community in a positive light. There will also be numerous Black-owned booths available for people if they would like to purchase things or simply learn more. I hope everybody has a great rest of their week, especially as things thankfully begin to warm up. Thank you.
Gautam, will you please share your report?
Hello everyone, my name is Gautam Barani and I represent Maple Grove Senior High. Maple Grove is blasted into the new school year with many exciting activities, events, and opportunities. Students exemplified school spirit last week with snow days, where we participated in a pep fest, which the seniors won, by the way, exciting Friday night basketball games, and a Saturday night dance. Believe it or not, we already passed mid-try, which meant parent-teacher conferences, grade check-ins, and the opportunity for seniors to sit back, reflect, and realize we are halfway through our last year of high school. While the rest of our school has just wrapped up registration for the next school year, seniors have finally completed all of their college applications and now turn their attention to applying to a variety of scholarships for their post-secondary pathways. Our DECA chapter competed well at their district conference, with a vast majority of our members qualifying for the state conference, which will be held at the beginning of March. Maple Grove HOSA also recently competed at Midwinters and are now preparing for the state leadership conference in the spring. Crimson Robotics, or Team 2526, is diligently preparing for the first FRC competition held in Duluth at the end of February. Regarding athletics, Maple Grove basketball had a huge night this past Friday, hosting Osseo boys and girls basketball. Shout out to the girls for currently holding the 5th rank in the Metro Top 10 rankings out of all the classes in the state. Adapted floor hockey has competed strongly, playing numerous games in the past month. Tomorrow they take on Tartan at 4:30 p.m. at North St. Paul High School, but they have numerous home games in the next few weeks at Maple Grove Middle School. Finally, the Maple Grove dance team has done well so far this season, with the jazz team participating in the STMA Invite this past weekend. Thank you everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Reason, will you please share your report?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Reason Atkins, representing 279 Online. And although we have had a delayed winter, our school year has been going by fast and steady. 279 Online is booked and busy this month as we threw a few events and got into the beginning of our 2024 through 2025 registration. At the beginning of this month, I personally organized a K-12 school fundraising event at Chuck E. Cheese. As I planned this event, I made sure that all families would be able to come and participate even if they couldn't financially afford it. With some help from the student leadership team, we were successfully able to advertise the event and persuade a lot of families to go. The night of the fundraiser was a success as teachers challenged students and classmates enjoyed meeting each other. In the beginning of trimester 2, we welcomed many students while connecting and chatting with all of them. They expressed how they enjoyed their first experience of 279 online. Our registration event is next week on February 1st at the OALC building. We are excited to see new faces and welcome everyone and anyone into the 279 online community. At this event, scholars are able to connect and get help from their current teachers and potential teachers for the next year. Last month, our middle school advisories competed against each other and our high school advisories competed against each other for our advisory challenges. The top 3 middle school advisories and the top 3 high school advisories were crowned winners and got to select from a variety of prizes like gift cards to local restaurants and stores. Tomorrow is our elementary school event, and there are going to be a lot of activities like arts and crafts, a movie theater area, and many games to play. High school students, including the student leadership team, will also be present to connect and help with their younger peers. I hope everyone has a great week and hopefully not a too cold winter. Thank you.
And Izzy, will you please share your report?
Hello, I'm Izzy, and I'm a senior at the OLC. Before break started, we had a fun celebration where we had bingo, study hall, art, open gym, and some other fun activities that students could choose from. We held bingo in the commons area where there were a lot of good prizes and student participation. We also had ice cream available for those who wanted it. We are also preparing for Legislative Day, which is where we get the opportunity to visit the Capitol and talk with our representatives and get a tour of the Capitol as well. Students also get the opportunity to earn credit, and it takes place next month, and we are all very excited about it. With the new week comes new students. Our teachers continue to strive to provide the best education, even with classroom sizes growing. This includes many giving up their prep to continue to provide the small class experience that our school is based upon. Always grateful for our wonderful teachers and staff at the OLC. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, student reps. Our next agenda item is the audience opportunity to address the school board, and I'll just quickly go over the guidelines again. I'd like to remind everyone here this evening that regardless of our viewpoints, we are all here in the best interest of our scholars. We want our children to care about each other even when there's a disagreement. We strive to be one community, and in doing so, decorum matters in this space as we share our perspectives. Speakers will be called to the podium in this order: student, parent, staff, community members, and then others. When I call your name, please come to the microphone and state your name, the topic, and whether or not you're a district resident. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Address the entire board, please. If you have any handouts for the board members, please give them to Sherry or leave them on the table over there. We're all going to listen and not respond back at this time. If you would like someone to follow up, please let the board secretary know. That's Sherry over there. Comments and interactions between board members and the public are expected to be respectful, courteous, professional, and civil, of course. And for the good of our community, personnel concerns should be directed to the individuals in the following order: the building principal, the executive director for human resources, assistant superintendent, superintendent, and then finally in writing to the school board. Thank you for listening to that. We have 2 speakers tonight. Our first one is Victoria Nagy. Tell me how to say your last name. Nagy.
Well, I think I say it wrong. I just should have accent. Whatever you say is fine.
Sounds good, thank you. Oh, I just lost my place.
Hi, I'm Tori Nagy. I am a social studies teacher at the OALC, and I've been in the district for 4 years now. I've actually been to many of these meetings before, but I've never spoken, which if you know me, that's actually really surprising because I love time to talk into a microphone with undivided attention. However, you may be thinking 4 years ago, what happened then? COVID. And that's when I started my teaching career. I taught at Osseo Senior High in the fall of 2019. And while naturally it's pretty nerve-wracking to get started, and I was overwhelmed and scared, not just because they were large 11th graders and I was 21, but because there was 35 to 40 students in my world history classes. I quickly learned that it was not possible to be the teacher that I had dreamed of being and getting to know every scholar and each of their needs and what makes them come alive. Then I transitioned over to the Distance Learning Academy for my first year teaching during COVID. There I had over 600 students in this district in my first year, 200 trimester, 44, 45 in my US history classes. It was tough. My heart was breaking because I was not meeting the needs of my students and I knew they were falling through the cracks. But now on to the good stuff. I'm now at the OLC and I've been there for 3 years. If you know anything about the OLC, we offer smaller class sizes where we can get to know students and make their learning personalized to what they're interested in. Watching students regain their confidence in themselves at this school and step into their brilliance has truly been an honor and one of the greatest joys I get to experience. An example of what we can do with our smaller class sizes and smaller building is today some of my colleagues and I actually got together after school to collaborate because we have a student who's super close to graduation and he only needs world history, a little bit of English, and a little bit of art left. And so we're able to develop a unit for him where he can use the metal he's making in art to represent the empire he's studying in world history and then potentially do a research paper on it for English credit. These are just some of the really awesome things we can do. I also have some raps I can show you that students have made about geography. Anyways, while the OLC staff and students are amazing, we're not unique to this district. There are creative staff and scholars across this district that would love to do what we're able to do at our site, but they can't because they simply have too many students in their room. So as you go forward and start to think about class sizes and the negotiations, I just ask that you think about the super cool stuff we can do at the OLC and the joy that is unlocked in these scholars and also in teachers. And so just think about that, and you're welcome to come see. It's really cool, all the different things that we do every day. But every teacher and every student benefits when they can be in a smaller group setting and get to know each other and what makes them step into their brilliance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Just a reminder that we're just listening, even though I'm a teacher. Okay. Our next speaker is LaDon.
Good evening, LaDon Severin, district resident and concerned parent. My topic is book challenges, one that I presented last week for the district. As mentioned at past school board meetings, Policy and Procedure 652 is the current route right now for challenging books, one book at a time, one school library at a time. It's cumbersome. Hopefully someday soon we'll have the printed material under Policy 441 instead, and that would take care of a lot of these problems. An important note, Maya Kobabe, the author of the book that I challenged, admitted in a Washington Post interview that she did not write this book for young audiences, but rather as a tool to help her come out to her own family. Here's her actual quote. "Genderqueer is a comic and in full color, but it doesn't mean that it's for children." The committee did vote last week 3-2 to keep the book in the library. So as I was filling out the initial form to submit to the principal and media specialist, it asked if I had read professional reviews on the book. So I found some, and boy, I tell you, the professionals love this book. They've given it awards. The American Library Association put it on many recommended lists like best books of 2020. Great graphic novels for teens. And it's graphic, all right. There are drawings of Maya in intimate acts with a partner and sex toys, drawings of her recurring nightmares regarding menstruation, drawings of some sexual fantasies, and this drawing of her being stabbed through the abdomen, which is her artistic rendition of what it felt like to have a pap smear. She's very graphic with her words as well, bluntly confessing her hatred of her own female anatomy and openly
I'm
telling...
sorry to interrupt you, but our guidelines say not to show any pictures to the audience or us, and if you have something for us, to leave it on the table or give it to Sherry.
Well,
So I'm sorry to interrupt you,
It's an
but go ahead.
important part of the book, so...
Feel free to photocopy it and give it to the board members.
Okay.
Thank you.
So she's very graphic with her words as well, bluntly confessing her hatred of her own female anatomy and openly telling about her immersion into the world of queer books and gay porn reading materials. But let's see what the professionals have to say about this book. Beautiful, valuable, will surely help every human being, both living now and for generations to come. And one of the most audacious, from the School Library Journal in July 20 of 19, right after the book was published, a hopeful tone is what they say. I just want to read a little bit of her hopeful tone. I hate my breasts. I wish I was a boy. I wish I had short hair. I feel like something's wrong with me. I never want kids, and I never want to have sex. I started daydreaming about getting breast cancer, thinking it would give me the perfect excuse to have my breasts removed. Same review says the use of sex toys will be enlightening. Aren't you glad we're asking the professionals what they think of this book? And then they also say there's a matter-of-fact descriptions of gynecological exams. As you saw from the drawing, that is not matter-of-fact. So this is a classic sad case of taking our cues on values and morality from those who don't have any. They're esteemed as intellectual giants, but are morally bankrupt. A treacherous combination. 2 more sentences. There's a tried and true way to replenish moral bankruptcy, but an increasing number of Americans think they're too smart, too progressive, too sophisticated for God's ways. As the consequences run their course in society, at least some will become sober enough to eventually admit, let God be true and every man a liar.
Thank you. That was it for public speaking. Our next item on the agenda are school board reports. And Director Brooks, do you have any reports or updates?
I do not have any school board reports. RISE committee meets this Thursday.
Director Douglas.
I do not have any reports or updates.
Director Mitchell.
Yes, we had our CPAC committee meeting, and we have a free event. Nothing's free, right? But this is a free event for the public, Saturday, May 11th, and we're going to be offering some free classes from our community education on health and wellness, free food, free coffee. So that'll be at Osseo Middle School in May, so we'll keep you posted on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Grady.
No reports this time. Thank you.
Okay, and I have 2 quick reports. The Northwest Suburban Integration School District board met last Wednesday. We chose officer board positions. We welcomed our new board members and said goodbye to our old board members. We received an audit report with a clean opinion. And then we had updates on where our magnet schools are as far as registration and lotteries. And then I want to encourage people who want to know more about the Northwest Suburban Integration School District to go to the website and sign up for their newsletter. It is gorgeous. They just started a new newsletter. It comes out every other month. And I'm not just saying that because the director is here. Heather, will you please stand up? This is Heather Like. She's the director of Northwest Suburban Integration School District, and we are very happy to have her. That's pretty much it for my Northwest Suburban Integration School District report. I do have a short report on 287, the Intermediate School District, 287. The policy committee met and we went over and revised our bullying policy and our giving medicine to students policy. We are meeting on Thursday, so I don't have any other updates than that. All right. Our next agenda item is the consent agenda. Board members, is there any items you want to remove for consideration on the consent agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the consent agenda as printed?
So moved.
Moved by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Mitchell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. We have one action item, gifts to the district. Is there a motion to approve the gifts to the district totaling $158,830.26?
So moved.
Moved by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Grady. Is there any discussion? Collective thank you for all those gifts. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0. Next on our agenda is informational items, and we have many policies here for first reading, including a proposed new policy with regard to electronic signatures. Several policies that have been reviewed with no proposed revisions, and some policies with proposed revisions, as well as a couple of proposed repeals, right? Okay. All right, and Council Amy Moore is on the spot now.
It won't be as long as you think. Much of the work we've done with a lot of the legislative changes, and you'll see that as we go through it. But the first one, Policy 740, starts on page 122 of your packet regarding electronic signatures. The reason for this policy is the Minnesota Department of Education has requested board policy as it relates to electronic signatures for continuous learning plans. So this one is something that we had a practice and certainly procedures in place, but now it would, for MDE purposes, to have it in board policy is what they're looking for. It's fairly straightforward about, authentication and electronic signatures. And I am happy to pause and take questions, but this will be the first reading, be posted, and we'll talk about it again the next board meeting. Any comments? Yeah.
I just had one question. Is this a MD request for all school boards or us specifically?
It was requested when I was at my past district as well. I think it's kind of whoever is looking over it. Some of them make the request, some of them don't, even though it is something for their guidelines that they want to see districts have, so.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so the next policy is 406 regarding public and private personnel data. And this is one of those policies that we had reviewed and acted upon based on legislative changes. And, the way that it is up to date, we don't recommend any changes at this time unless there's any question or comment. So we're advising no changes on 406 at this time. Okay, the next policy, 414, mandated reporting of child neglect or abuse. While there were updates to statutory reference, there is no substantive changes to the policy or procedures that we found were necessary for mandated reporting. It's still similar to what it was back in 2013, which was the last time that the board revised this. All right. So the next one that is along procedure, the next policy, you'll see it as procedure 416, but I'll actually, for policy 416, drug and alcohol testing, policy 418, drug-free workplace, policy 419, tobacco-free environment. All three of those are ones that we looked at with the updated legislative changes over the summer. A lot of those changes, if you remember, involved, cannabis and those wording changes. So at this time, we don't see a need for any further updated changes on all three of those policies. So then we will get to policy 423, employee-student relationships, and that starts on page 146 of your packet. For this, we made both to the policy and the procedure, you'll see a minor change. It had language that referenced teachers and other district employees. So we just make it district employees. There's no need to necessarily call out teachers. The policy and the procedure applies to all of our district employees. And that was our advised update to that policy. No other changes. So then the policy 452, firearm restrictions for employees. Again, for this policy, it was a rather simple update, but to make it follow what we practice today. Prior, it was principal managers annually review the policy with all staff. We have an employee handbook that all employees are required to review every year, and this is a policy that's included it, so we updated it, so policy 452 will be referenced in staff handbooks, and staff are responsible to review the handbook annually. Okay, so as we head on to the 600s, policy 602 is the school calendar policy. A fairly short, simple policy talking about the number of student contact days and such, and there hasn't been any changes that we felt needed any revisions on this particular policy as well. The next policy is actually one, 614, compliance with state tests required for graduation. We note it as review, but actually this is one we are proposing for repeal. It's fairly basic, and actually we have another policy that will come before you related to state testings that's much more involved, and this was, we didn't feel like it was necessary. It was kind of duplicative and doesn't really say much other than that we will follow the law. So we are recommending this, and we'll update on the website that this is proposed for repeal. All right, policy 626, educational programs, grading and reporting student achievement. You know, this is a longer policy, but upon review, our academic team thought that what we had in place is still relevant, including the procedures that are there. There was some discussion at the policy committee, but we are proposing that this move forward with no changes necessary. And then policy 645, charter schools. This is rather irrelevant these days, and so we propose this one for an easy repeal by the board.
And just to clarify, that was just on the school district sponsoring a charter school.
Correct. This was back in the days when school districts would sponsor charter schools, and that you don't see that anymore. And then the last one, 647, Pledge of Allegiance. Upon review, we find that the policy still reflects what we would like to see in a policy, and don't recommend any changes to the Pledge of Allegiance policy. We got these kind of low-hanging fruits, and we'll keep going. What we're doing is working through 200, 400, 600 series. Obviously, you saw half 400, half 600. So we'll continue the cycle of review to keep you guys on a schedule of more. Hopefully, you won't see 2013s, you know, a decade ago, that you'll be on a more regular review. That will be coming. So these will be posted for the next month. We will do a second reading at the next business meeting, and you can vote on them, but feel free to forward me any questions, but we'll have opportunity next month as well if you have questions or comments.
Thank you so much for all your work on this. Okay, our final agenda item is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:50 p.m.?
So moved.
So moved by Director Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Director Brooks. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes 5-0, and the meeting is adjourned at 6:50 p.m.